Hello.
Hey, do you think anybody could tell by the intro video that we really like cats?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty obvious.
I mean, I'll watch cat videos just like for fun. They come up in my algorithm because I like cat videos and I'll watch them over and
I
over.
got cat videos.
I particularly like the intro though. I'm not tired of it. I'm sure other people hate it. I don't care. I love it.
It's okay.
It's so like
It brings joy to our life.
I'll be in a rotten mood or not super happy like right before we're gonna stream, and as soon as it comes on I'm like, yay, cats. So it definitely helps.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Today has been an extended date day.
Yeah, we have had like a crazy week.
Yeah.
In a good way.
And it's culminating in a glorious ending.
Yes, definitely. In case anybody doesn't know, Chris and I just took on the federal government and they settled with us for way more than what we were asking before we took them to court because we were guaranteed to win. So that got resolved this week and we were cut a check today.
Yep.
Well, he was given the check this morning. So that's pretty freaking cool. Anyway, I have...
What you got for me?
All right, so today I've got like a lot of videos we can watch that I've mostly found on X. Wait, no, all of them I found on X. We're going to talk about Turtleboy, Lindsay Clancy, Bricks and Minifigs, David, and Nolan Wells.
David.
Yeah, that I know. I know. So where do you want to start? You want to start with the funny?
Let's do the fun stuff, yeah.
All right. Okay. Let me share my screen with you. I should really like get all these lined up, right?
You could. I think it works good this way. What is going on? What is that guy doing? Is he peeing? What's he doing? That's what it looks like.
That's the Smoothie King.
It's the Smoothie King.
Yeah. Have you ever wondered who the Smoothie King is? It's him.
He owns the Smoothie King?
No, but, you know, it's right there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. That's quite the random video.
Oh, so do you remember when we did the video about the bison that attacked the grandpa?
Yes. Yes, the bison launched that dude.
I have a little follow-up for you.
Oh, nice. I love a good bison follow-up.
Yeah.
See it. Oh.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
We saw the bison. At the time, I had my grandson with me. It was like, you need to get up.
This guy looks like way younger than I thought. I thought he was like looked like my grandfather.
He sounds younger. I thought he would sound like decrepit. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was like, you know, in his 80s or something. This guy's probably like our age.
Yeah.
To the amphitheater. I will deal with this down here. They move faster than you could ever imagine. He just kept coming and he was more aggressive. And as soon as he got off that tree, he launched me in the air.
It was definitely clear that he had a pretty painful injury. It's actually broken in multiple pieces.
Ooh.
You can see fragments here, and there are fracture and break lines right through that.
Ugh. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Playing with the bison.
Oh, this one's really cool. I saw this and I watched it like 3 times.
Okay, that's a good endorsement. Oh. Oh. Try again. Looks like a video game.
Right? Like this looks like AI, but it isn't.
Gonna do it. He's gonna make it. Oh, look at that. Success. Guy's very animated. But
Yeah, it's really cool, right?
quite impressive. Yeah, it was an impressive ride.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I like the part in the beginning where he falls and bites the dust. That part was good.
All right, this one just looks pretty painful.
Oh, nice. Keeping with the painful theme.
I should read to you like what my titles are.
Okay.
All right.
Kuroda Growers
Oh,
pitch and fouls it off of himself. He's still down. That might have caught him
oh.
maybe even higher. What do you see here, Dallas?
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, that'll hurt.
He's
He's
still
out.
down.
Yeah, I don't know that that's much an ice pack can take
Yeah,
care
don't
of.
really know what the protocol for this would be.
That's
Catch
a brutal hit.
He's on his feet now.
Gotta adjust.
He's going to put the helmet on, grab the baseball bat, maybe a
All
few
right.
dry swings.
Uh,
And it looks
Yeah.
like he will come up with no balls and one strike. Runner going, Kuroda Grauer lines it into right center, a base hit. Butler to third. And a multi-hit affair for Joshua Kuroda Grauer. Well, he got bruised and then bruises that baseball.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than getting just like smashed in the groin.
I honestly wouldn't know, but
I said
I don't, also don't care. I feel like I'm getting smashed in the groin often. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, like being a lady hurts.
What could this be?
Your favorite animal? Well, second favorite. Well, third favorite, right? You like the gator, then the raccoon, then the donkey?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Ow! Ow!
Oh. Oh.
You see the donkey?
Hey, hey.
He went for it.
Ow, 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 ow. What's your problem? Stop. Stop.
Oh man. What a mean donkey.
Donkey, want your breakfast?
What a mean donkey.
Seen a donkey and a dog be best friends.
Oh. Oh.
Indeed.
Oh wow. Donkey was fired up. Donkey's having a good time out there.
Oh, this one is called I'm Only Making One Trip.
Okay.
I mean, that's my title for it.
Yeah, I like I want to hear these titles you have for them. I think it's nice little introduction.
Yeah, but sometimes they're offensive. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to mute it.
Oh, wow.
I know. I love that saxophone. I'm sure you're loving it, but...
Look at that. No, that is insane.
Wait, no, it gets more crazy.
What is going on? What?
He's only making one trip.
He is not playing around. Oh my gosh.
You want to see it again?
Yeah. Yeah, that is hard to believe that it's like a glass onion. There's so many layers.
I mean, maybe it's AI. Who knows?
I don't know if AI could even come up with this. It's crazy.
Anyway, yeah, I thought you'd like that. And the jazz is nice with it, but
yeah, no copyright strikes.
This one is called Jaguar with Catnip.
Jaguar with Catnip. That sounds entertaining.
Does it?
Yeah, I love a good Jaguar.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
Catnip videos are pretty high up there. They're like a 7 or 8 almost every time. Wildcat catnip videos, I gotta be good. Oh, look at him go.
You don't like it? You're a healthy guy.
Oh, get it.
All over your face. Go get it, Benta.
I'm loving it. That beautiful baby.
Oh my goodness.
I like the noise it makes when it puts its head down. It's like doom.
Yeah. All right. Kid punches people in the balls.
Kids will do that.
This kid seems just like a menace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a complete menace, this kid. I like him. Wonder if he's up for adoption. I'll take him.
Oh, you want more kids?
No.
I don't believe that.
I'm too old. Hold on, let me mute it.
Yeah, it hasn't come up on the screen yet.
Is it up?
No.
Well,
No, it
get
is.
it go. All right, cool.
Let's see. Oh! Oh! Like, dude just kicked him.
He flipped him off at the end.
Oh.
You don't want to mess with. You don't want to mess with that kid.
That kid was unusually small, I felt like. I think he was extra small.
All right, this I can't wait to show you. Guy raps about a guy who tore his knee.
Okay.
And you'll know this guy.
Will I? See.
Oh yeah. Because he's the guy that does "You're going to jail tonight." That guy?
Yeah.
He ain't going to jail. He's going in the ambulance tonight. In the ambulance tonight. Homie hit the hospital. He done tore his knee. I'm the brother on the microphone killing all the beats. Homie punched me and fell. And tore his whole damn ACL. Shout out to the homies here. They gonna get you, bro. I'm the brother on the mic taking pictures, though. That's a true story. Homie was tripping. I'm the brother on the microphone, make him listen. He done tore his knee, chit. Tore his knee, trying to mess with me. He done tore his knee, chit. He tore his knee, trying to mess with me. He done tore his knee, chit. Tore his knee tonight. Shout out to the paramedics, because they about to help you out. Give him some morphine. You know he needed without a doubt.
This is such a troll. I'm gonna play the rest of it. This is amazing. I'm cracking up looking at this. Like, oh my God, what a fantastic troll.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That means swole as hell. I'm the brother on the mic that never fail. He tried to run across the street and challenge me. And tore up his whole damn knee. That's what you get, man, messing with God's people. He done tore his knee, tore his knee, mess with me. He done tore his knee, tore his knee, messing with me. He done tore his knee, tore his knee, messing with me. Tore his knee, and now y'all let him in the gurney. Good God. Shout out to my dude for the tip in the red. Homie right here, I hope you learn from this. I'm the brother on the mic to make him burn for this. We gon' put it on the Instagram, dog, in your fit. He done tore his knee, tore his knee, messing with me. Tore his knee, tore his knee, messing with King. Homie tore his ACL and his MCL. I'm the brother on the microphone, really do it well. Homie ran across the street and simply fell. Now he going to the hospital. Good God. Put a peace sign up for the people, man. Let them know you all right. That's what you should have used that earlier instead of the middle fingers you used. Messing with me. He done tore his knee. Tore his knee. Messing with me. He done tore his knee. All praise to the Most High.
That was good.
It was great, wasn't it?
That was great trolling.
I gotta get some new headphones, like the ones that go in my ear, because these ones push on the stem of my glasses and makes my nose itchy. So I'm like I did a bunch of cocaine or something.
Oh my God.
Every time we're streaming. Speaking of cocaine, you like how I did that?
Yeah, nice little interlude.
Yeah, you'll love this.
Oh.
All right. You said, "Oh, are you excited? Do you like him?"
I don't know who he is.
Some cooks star.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What? You see the cocaine come out of his nose? And now look.
Yeah.
Look, he put it up on his forehead.
What is he doing?
Now he's saving it for later.
He's done lost his mind.
That's for later.
Who is that? Is that pop singer? What's his name?
Uncle Jacob?
Uncle Jacob? Yeah, it's Uncle Jacob. Your favorite pop singer.
I don't know who it is. Hold on. It'll tell me here. Oh, Robbie Williams.
Yes, that's who I thought that was. Okay.
Okay.
Nicely done, Robbie.
Yeah, well, no, I got another one. I got a follow-up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. He says it's out of context.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Just like to apologize for the object that fell onto the microphone yesterday. It was deeply unprofessional, and people worried about me, but it's okay because I had several more.
What? What is he talking about?
You know what he's talking about. He has more of those. So anyway,
Robbie.
so it's not a big deal that he lost that because he has so many more drugs.
Yeah, he needs to clean up his act. How dare he?
I don't care.
Slick haircut of his.
That haircut, like, never. It's like never like in style, but there's always some guy with that stupid hair, and that's like their personality.
Yeah, like Guy Fieri. That's another example of someone with hair like that. That's their personality.
I've only been on one cruise because you know me, I'm like anti-cruise. I'm like, I just want to go to the cruise destinations and spend time there. I don't want people like telling me what to do.
Yeah.
I went on one once with a friend of mine, and it was as awful as I thought it would be. And it was like a cheap cruise too.
Yeah.
Anyway, they had like the pool hamburger restaurant was Guy Fieri's.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, why would anybody put their name on this frozen crab? Like,
he stands behind his product.
well, maybe he shouldn't.
Like Guy Fieri.
That guy would not eat this crab.
You don't think so?
No, there's no way. I mean, why would he?
He says
Anyway.
he says he guides all of that stuff. Anyway.
All right, what do you want to cover first? We got Turtleboy, Lindsay Clancy, Bricks and Minifigs, David, and Nolan Wells.
Let's talk about David.
Okay. David is, I have an update on Tuesday from Brian Enton.
Okay.
I'm following two journalists from this. So Brian Enton is one and Lauren Conlon is the other one. And her coverage today was really good.
Okay.
Lauren Conlon works for LA Magazine. Brian Enton is News Nation.
Yeah.
So let me bring his up.
Starting
Okay.
with Brian Enton.
Yeah, because I did his coverage for Tuesday and then Lauren's for today. But I
Okay.
don't have a video from her. I do have a video from him. I'm just going to read her updates, but they're so good.
Okay.
You can tell she's taking notes while she's in the courtroom. All right, tell me when it comes up.
It's up.
Yay.
The hearing for David, the singer David, it's spelled D4VD, but his real name is David Burke, which, if you guys have been following this case, I mean, we've known that it is disturbing and that the details are disturbing and that it is graphic and that it is horrible and that it is heartbreaking. But what came out today in court is honestly more terrible than I could have even imagined. The photos that were shown, the descriptions, all while the victim, Celeste Rivas Hernandez's parents were sitting right there. It was difficult to watch. There were no cameras in court. This is the preliminary hearing, by the way. So a lot of new details coming out about the case. No cameras in court. We weren't allowed to live stream, no live tweeting. So basically it was old-fashioned note-taking. And in this episode, I'm going to go over everything that happened, everything that's new, all of the details about how the prosecution alleges that David Burke killed Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Also, sorry, a lot of truck just went by. An interesting financial element to this that I didn't really understand until today, how finances may come into play with motives and theories. So I'm going to get into all of it, everything that I witnessed in court, everything that was said in this episode of Brian Enton Investigates. Hey guys, all right, I found a little spot here near the courthouse to kind of give you guys a deep dive, debrief into everything that happened at this preliminary hearing for David. The R&B singer D4VD is what he went by, but his real name is David Burke. I'm actually right across the street from the courthouse. It's interesting being in Los Angeles at this courthouse downtown. It's like kind of historic. It's where O.J. Simpson was, and the Michael Jackson trial, and a bunch of others. So it's interesting being inside. But just kind of a warning first. There's a lot of really, really graphic details that came out today in court, and I'm going to try to share as much as I feel comfortable. I took a ton of notes, but I just wanted to warn you guys watching. Like, this stuff is rough, and you guys know I cover a lot of cases, but this hearing was intense. And the victim, and I'm going to get into it. I mean, they showed photos of Celeste Rivas Hernandez's remains when she was found in the bags inside the Tesla. They described them in detail, and it was all happening while Celeste's parents were sitting right in the front row of the courtroom.
Oh my God. Those poor parents.
That's terrible.
I mean, this is so wild that all this stuff is coming out like in pretrial stuff. Do you think that the prosecutors just like showing all their cards because like we've got you? So
Yeah, I don't. There doesn't sound like there's a lot of ambiguity in this case. Like, it's pretty obvious that what people think happened is what happened. I don't think there's a lot of proving to do. It's just kind of documenting.
I am always like, wait for the evidence. You know, they're innocent until proven guilty. They come into this as should be under the assumption that they're innocent. I'm not doing that with this at all.
Well, it was pretty sloppy, right? Like, there was a lot of evidence early on that was just kind of like, made it pretty clear.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
So just kind of a warning for you guys. That's kind of what you're up against in this episode. But at the same time, I think it's important if you've been following the case to know all the details and everything that that David Burke is accused of, and obviously I'm all about transparency. First, kind of what the vibe was like. It was hard getting a spot to get in the courtroom. I got here at 7 a.m. and at 7:30 there was a lottery system, so everyone had to get like a little ticket, and then at 8:15 they put them in one of those like drums and turned it, and then randomly drew names. I was lucky enough. There's only 10 seats that were confirmed, and I just got lucky. One of my tickets was called, so I had a seat, and then the producer I'm with also got a ticket on the standby list, but ended up getting in. So we were covered in the courtroom. So that was a relief because I was really nervous that I would have come all the way here and then not even gotten inside. But got inside. It's up on the 9th floor of the courthouse. Super kind of just old, dreary courthouse building, but again, historic with all the big, celebrity trials that have happened here in Los Angeles. There was a first level of security downstairs, second level of security upstairs, and then we got into the courtroom. So when I first told you guys about ZocDoc, I got some really nice emails about how you transition. So it's not like other websites in this video and for helping us all take better care. I actually saw, by the way, with Celeste's parents before I went in during one of the breaks. They were standing outside in the hallway just by themselves, by the bathroom. And I just was kind of looking at them, and you could see the pain in their faces. And it was just, I don't know. It was kind of, like you have these moments when you're covering these stories that just sort of hit you and you will never forget them. And for today, I think that was the moment for me, besides all the gruesome photos, which I'll tell you about in a second. But seeing them in the hallway, just standing there by the bathroom, waiting to go back in the court. And like there wasn't like a victim advocate with them. There wasn't anyone sort of like keeping a watch on them out there. They were just standing by themselves there in the corner. No one was talking.
Why didn't they have a victim advocate?
Oh, no, that's weird, right?
I mean, of all cases.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She was so young.
Maybe they couldn't find a victim advocate that spoke Spanish.
Maybe.
I mean, it's LA. Of course they have them.
They have to, yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's wild.
I think everyone was just respectfully sort of leaving them alone. And it was just, I don't know, I was just thinking about the fact that this is their daughter. And it was, I don't know, again, with these stories, there's usually a couple of moments or one moment that I like take with me. And I think for today, like that's the moment that I'm going to take with me. But let me go through all my notes and forgive me, I'm going to look down a lot, but like there was no cameras allowed in court. So there's no live feed. Sometimes there'll be no live feed, but they'll still allow a camera, and then you can put the video out after the hearing. That was not an option today. So there was 0 cameras in court. You also weren't allowed to live transmit anything or live tweet. So you couldn't tweet at all. You couldn't send emails during the proceeding. So really the only way to do it was to take old fashioned just notes. And then that's what you have. So I'm going to look down a lot just to kind of remember everything I want to tell you guys that I took notes from today. But yeah, so David walked in shackled. He was wearing his orange jumpsuit. He was wearing glasses. Smiled and nodded at his attorney sitting right there. DA Nathan Hochman, who is the elected district attorney in Los Angeles, was in the courtroom for the morning session at least, and he was sitting in the audience section. As I mentioned, you guys, Celeste's parents were in the front row. The first motion before the actual preliminary hearing started was David's attorneys wanted to get him unshackled during the hearing, which I've seen happen in other cases where they asked for that. I guess just for them to be, I don't know, more comfortable. The judge denied that motion, agreed to take the handcuffs off, but said that his waist shackle would remain and that he would be shackled to the chair, but said that the wrist handcuffs could be taken off so that he could take notes and like write down questions for his lawyer. So then the actual preliminary hearing got started. The prosecution called their first witness, Deputy Juan Gonzalez with the LASD. He talked about this, how he was sent to David's house back on February 17, 2024 to investigate a missing person, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. David answered the door dressed casually, wearing a bonnet. He was eating the whole time the officers were there and offered them a beer from the fridge. They were there to ask about Celeste. And by the way, remember, Celeste is underage. I mean, they met when she was 11 years old. So as I go through all of this, kind of keep that in mind.
I mean...
11 years old, that's insane.
The audacity of this guy. Like, we have a newly 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Like...
I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine an adult wanting to spend time with a 12-year-old.
11-year-old. They met when she was 11.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with an adult here. We're dealing with an adult suspect, but an underage child, a young girl. So they asked him about Celeste. He said she wasn't there and that the only time he ever saw her was on November 12th, 2023. And the last time they spoke was February 13th, 2024. When the deputy asked when they met, he said 2020 or 2021 and that they met on Discord. He offered up photos of Celeste, one being a yearbook photo and one being the missing poster. The deputy wasn't familiar with that, as he was from West Hollywood, and he was just sent by Riverside to see if Celeste was in the home. This is when Celeste was still considered missing. David said Celeste told him that she was 18, but other people were telling him that she was 13. Then there was the second witness, Detective Joshua Byers, who is from the Homicide Division of LAPD. He was called to the impound lot when the body was discovered in the front trunk of the black Tesla, which, remember, the Tesla had Texas plates, but it was registered to David. And when I say front trunk with a Tesla, the trunk is in the front. So there's a lid that pops in the front where the engine is. With an electric car, there's actually a trunk, and it was in that front trunk where Celeste was discovered. Prosecution started by asking about state of the body, the way that they found it, and this is when the family started to get emotional. Again, they were sitting in the front row. And what would happen is when they were about to ask about really specific gruesome things or show gruesome photos, the prosecutor would just kind of turn around subtly and warn the family, and they would just look down during that point, which stood out to me.
They should have had the option to be able to leave. I mean, maybe they did, and they said that they wanted to be there.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure they had the option to not be there if they didn't want to be there, but they don't.
But like the prosecutor is like signaling to them so they can avert their eyes. Like that's really
it's gruesome stuff. I think they want to show the jury because they want the jury to be freaked out.
The jury's not there. This is just a pre-trial hearing. There is no jury.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is pre-trial. So.
As other trials I've covered, it's like kind of a much more big to-do where they'll make an announcement and then certain people will leave the courtroom for that part. But this was just kind of a subtle gesture by the prosecutor who would just turn around and tell the family that something, disturbing was coming up, or that there was going to be a photo that was disturbing. And then the family wouldn't leave, but would just sort of look down. And kind of, again, just heartbreaking to think of what it was like for them going through that. The photos included a black body bag. There was a black garbage bag, one bag. And again, this part is tough, and they showed this, by the way. So everyone in the courtroom saw this. They showed these photos. One bag contained severed arms and legs and had maggots and liquid surrounding it. And the other bag contained a head and torso. So we know that the body was dismembered and in different pieces, and different pieces were in different bags. And the family was crying, and it did seem at some points they looked up at the photos. They weren't looking down the entire time. Granted, you could tell in the photos that it was something. And I don't want to go into too graphic detail, but it didn't look like a person. I mean, there was decomposition, and she had been in those bags and pieces for a long time. The detective described that one hand had 2 severed fingers, and they found a finger with the word "shh," like SHHH tattooed on it. Which, keep that in mind. Remember that, because later we're going to see it's the same tattoo on David's finger. They had matching tattoos, but that finger was chopped off of Celeste. And I hate to use that terminology, but just forgive me. I mean, I don't know how else to get around some of these things. So they found a finger. 2 fingers were severed. One had the word "shh" on it, SHHH. The prosecutor again told the family to look down and showed photos of it. They had photos. The prosecutor asked the witness if anything else stood out as unusual, and he said that there were many blue shards in several body parts. And they put up photos of a knee, and you could tell that it was a knee with a blue plastic piece in it. She then asked if they found a head with a recognizable face, and the detective said that there was just too much decomposition and what they called slippage. That was the word they used, slippage, and that there was just too much of that to recognize anything. And at this point, and there were many times this happened, but at this point the family started to cry again, and that was when the judge called a recess. It kind of felt like, I guess, the appropriate time, and there was a break then, and everybody left the courtroom. After the break,
I mean, he didn't even have the decency to I killed her. I made a mistake. I'm gonna give her a nice burial somewhere.
No, he dismembered her body and threw her.
This is the most disrespectful, insane thing.
Yeah.
I
Byers was back, testified that in the Tesla he found a receipt for $729.25 for Ross Dress for Less, and this is the same date that they claim that David deactivated his phone from his Tesla and parked it around the street from his home and then left it there. It was later ticketed and impounded, but it was left there for quite some time, and that's one of the interesting things. The car was really...
You think he could afford to shop somewhere nicer than Ross Dress for Less?
Probably not.
I mean, I thought he had a lot of money.
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's a weird place.
Dusted over, and they showed pictures of that. And it's something that I thought about, and of course, this is innocent until proven guilty. This is all alleged. But, was there a bigger plan here that was for some reason stopped? Because you have to imagine if someone dismembered Celeste's body, went to all of that trouble, put in different bags, and put in the trunk of the Tesla, like the intention couldn't have just been to leave the Tesla in that spot forever, because obviously, which is what happened, someone was suspicious of the Tesla just sitting there on a neighborhood street for so long. It was getting dusty, there was a smell coming from it, an odor, and it ended up being impounded and taken to an impound lot. It was towed to the lot on September 5th, 2025. The detective was able to get a download of all the data connected from the iPhone 16, which David had named Tranquilizer. That was the name of the phone, Tranquilizer.
He named his phone Tranquilizer? Why?
Weird. I don't know. That's a weird name for a phone.
I mean, we did name our Wi-Fi smart toilet 9000 or something.
That's a great name. Come on.
It is pretty good.
Detective Byers was never able to find the phone, he said. He said that navigation searches to Santa Barbara and Santa Ynez Valley were of particular interest, which was interesting, but we don't know why he said that, but he did say that they were of particular interest, those navigation searches. Sorry, I just lost my place. The detective was called out to the impound lot on September 8th. He testified that there were media helicopters overhead. And then on September 10th, Celeste's father called LAPD and said that he believed the body they discovered in the Tesla belonged to his daughter. The prosecution asked that given the condition of the body, did the detective ask the father for Celeste's dental records? And at this point, the family got emotional again. I'm sure just like remembering what this was like for them during all this. And Detective Byers said they did get dental records and they ID'd Celeste's body on September 16th. So they were able to make a positive identification that it was her, even though it was bad. I mean, it was decomposition. And again, the photos, I won't go into graphic detail of what they look like, but, those are the sort of things that stick with people for a long time who see photos like that. On September 17th, detectives executed a search warrant at David's house. They collected more devices, including an iPhone 15, which they determined belonged to David, as well as also a tower computer they got. On the computer, they found that David purchased tickets on United Airlines for both him and Celeste to Texas and London, which this was a big moment because it connected. Remember, he just said, I haven't seen her in so long. I didn't know her real age when the detectives went to his apartment to interview him. But now you've got these airline tickets that he purchased for Celeste overseas.
Yeah, you have to have like your age, right?
Yeah.
And it has to match your ID when you book airline tickets,
Your birth
right?
date. Yeah, your birth date. Yeah.
Well, then again, maybe she had a fake ID, although that won't scan at the airport.
No.
She would have had to have a passport for these
Yeah.
flights if one was to London. So
Yeah, for sure.
one of her parents, only speaks Spanish. So maybe she has a passport because she, travels internationally to like Mexico.
Maybe, but why wouldn't somebody notice that there's like an 11-year-old? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like what's he gonna say? This is my daughter? No.
yeah.
Like what's he? Because you can't travel with a child without their parents' permission.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Or like if you're one parent and you want to take your kids somewhere, technically you have to have permission from the other parent or it's kidnapping.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. This is kind of like, how do they get away with that situation for so long?
You can't buy someone an airline ticket without knowing who they really are and what their real age is and their birth date and everything. So that seemed like a significant moment. The prosecutor asked the detective if he found anything else of interest. He said he found an unopened box purchased from Amazon. That was from. There were several aliases here that they claimed that David used. This one was Victoria Mendez. Inside the box was what the detective called a burn box, and the prosecution asked to describe what that was, and he said it was a mini crematorium used to burn items to nothing. And they showed him a photo of the model he ordered, and it kind of looked like, and they had photos of all this stuff, by the way.
This is interesting because I remember whenever the person who owned the house that was renting it to David's manager on behalf of David, he had a private investigator go look at the house himself, and there was all this evidence in there, including this burn cage.
Right.
And he turned it into police.
Right. I remember that.
So when I'm describing this, they had photos up on the screen. It the burn box kind of looked like a metal trash can. So this part got pretty intense. And again, remember, Celeste's parents are in the front row. So they took another break. They came back. Detective Byer was back on the stand again. And they started asking him about the burn cage. He said it was ordered on Amazon and that there were other items that were ordered under a different alias. This one was Travion Davis, but they say it was David ordering the items, but the alias he used for these items was Travion Davis, that he ordered chainsaws, that he ordered a plastic blue inflatable pool, body bags, heavy-duty laundry bags, and that all of these items were found during the search of the home on September 17th. The chainsaws didn't have any blood on them, which the defense seemed to really dig in on. Well, why didn't you check them for blood? And the detective said, well, the ME said that there wouldn't have been blood on the chainsaws. And
then why are you introducing them? I guess they're trying to show he bought all of these things.
Right.
So he had a variety of things he could choose from.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so sick. Anyway, I don't necessarily want to hear any more of the gruesome details. Because that's apparently that's all that they really talked about yesterday. Now, the updates today were more financial. So my impression is that they're trying to get motive, right? And that motive is she was young, she was going to expose him, and his career would be ruined. Because of her age.
Yeah.
So he decided to get rid of her, and it's financially motivated, right? Because if she says something, he won't earn all this money, all these millions of dollars. So Lauren Conlon reported that before testimony resumed, there were two slightly tense and awkward moments. Patrick Steinfeld, the civil attorney representing Celeste's family, asked to make a record after being told he couldn't use his laptop in court. The judge admonished him and instructed him to be more respectful to the court staff. I guess this court has really strict rules about electronics.
I guess so.
The defense attorney, Blair Burke, then argued that she had not received a prosecution presentation that would be used in the next witness's testimony. Prosecutor Beth Silverman loudly disagreed, saying the defense had been provided the materials. LAPD criminalist Chelsea Murillo resumed testimony about processing Burke's Tesla Model X. That's where the body was found.
Yeah.
She testified that the Tesla smelled consistent with human decomp. Investigators observed significant insect activity in the frunk, including maggots and dead flies.
Ugh.
We saw several air fresheners throughout the vehicle, including inside the rear doors and in the frunk, where the air fresheners were covered in maggots and liquid. Murillo testified investigators used whatever this word is. It's phenol. What do you know what that is? PhenolPhthalEin.
No.
Oh, it tells you what it is. It's a chemical enhancement similar to luminol. I've heard of this Blue Star. I've seen videos of them using Blue Star. It works really well. Photos showed several reddish stains inside the rear cargo area and third row seating. USB flash drive was recovered from the Tesla's glove compartment. They do not know what it contains.
Right.
The defense cross-examination, Burke pointed out investigators never chemically tested or swabbed the interior, exterior of the rear trunk. She agreed with Burke's statement that she could not determine when the reddish stains were left and by who. She asked whether Blue Star detected blood in the front passenger area, and it was testified that she could not confirm. Wow, she's really painting it like they didn't do what they needed to do forensically. Interesting.
Yeah.
So new witnesses, Lauren Wallace, assigned to the field investigative unit, testified she previously worked as a scientist at Biogen and spent 9 years with LAPD. Okay, so she's just saying why she's... Yeah, and Brian Enton talked about this, 2 chainsaws, never used. This says, at one point, a court tech wearing bright pink shoes approached the monitor to fix it, and prosecutor Beth Silverman commented that his shoes matched the pink chainsaw on the screen. And then everybody looked awkwardly at each other in the gallery. What a great note by Lauren Conlon. That's hilarious. So it's just the photographs. and then, you know, going through the finances. So, yeah, talking about how much money he has and all that.
Is he broke? Was that part of the motivations, they think?
No. He had plenty of money. He was about to go on a world tour, but he would go broke and would not be making any more records if he was outed as a sex offender, which he was.
Yeah.
I mean, that you can't dispute that. They found pictures of her. So he's at the very least a sex offender.
Yes.
And he'd be on a registry.
I think that's a fair conclusion to make based on the evidence that we've seen presented in court so far.
I don't want to talk about this one anymore. I mean,
I don't blame you. Let's move on.
I'll keep following it, but it's
gruesome. It's a gruesome case.
I don't like ones involving kids.
I don't blame you. It's tough.
All right, so we got Nolan Wells update, Bricks and Minifigs, Lindsay Clancy, and Turtleboy.
Let's do the Nolan Wells update.
Okay, well, so I watched his funeral. His funeral was broadcast to the world, and it was kind of like a rally. I know that Tyler Perry paid for it, and it was huge, and there were like T.O. was there, and you know, Brent Crump was there, of course. It was Al Sharpton. Yeah, so it was amazing. Really moving. I cried. I tried not to, but when his dad started talking, his mom really kept it together, but when his dad started like eulogizing his own son, I was like, this is so sad. But so then today they did an independent autopsy and they got the results of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
is it bad?
Is it bad? Honestly, it's kind of a nothing burger.
Oh, that sucks. It's kind of the worst.
I mean, you'll see. Let me play this back at 1.5.
We have seen this happen over the years, not only in Mississippi, but across the country. It is unfortunate that our young people only seek to enjoy life. And as a result of participating in activities no longer have life. Within NAACP, we take this and many other cases serious because every person matters. I want to thank the Mississippi State Conference, particularly Alitra Perryman, for working with the family and supporting the family on the onset.
So mom and dad are over there on the left.
Okay.
That's why he's such a handsome young man. He has some gorgeous parents.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to lose a loved one. It's even more difficult to navigate a process when all eyes are on you. And the pressure of balancing between grieving and navigating is upon you. And so for the NAACP family, this is our role, is to step in, to support when families have an issue like this, and the local officials seem not to hold people accountable. It's unfortunate when you see news reports and law enforcement officials are repeating what individuals are saying as opposed to investigate the individuals who gave you the information, because you don't know who was involved or not involved. Amen. And so narrative matters in this case. And we're saying that in Nolan Wells' situation, the narrative should not be it was an accident before there was an investigation. The narrative should not be the words of individuals who went on a boat to the island with him, but they came without him, but with his cell phone. You don't investigate those individuals. We're not accusing anyone of anything other than the state of Mississippi or local officials. We're accusing them of being derelict in their duties to follow up and to ensure that regardless of what happened, that there was a proper investigation so that this family and that community could be assured that if anyone was involved, they would be held accountable. And if it wasn't truly an accident, that the families will have the necessary answers that any family deserves in this situation. I want to bring to the podium Attorney Benjamin Crump, a friend of mine who have stepped in to take the case and in support of the family to ensure that they get the answers that they deserve and that local officials and anyone involved will be held accountable to this family, to that system, because we are all parents, siblings, to loved ones who should not be confronted with this reality. Attorney Crump.
Thank you very much, President Derek Johnson, for your leadership, for the leadership of the Mississippi Conference of NAACP, and being there during the homegoing services to help the family go through what no parents want to go through. Thank you to Chairman Leon Russell, my longtime mentor from Florida, who helped raise so many of us. Thank you for always being there, Chairman Russell. As President Johnson said, I'm Attorney Ben Crump, representing the family of Nolan Wells, but it's not just me, it is a team effort of incredible, dedicated lawyers and investigators and paralegals. Attorney Lisa Park, attorney who you'll hear from in a few minutes, Attorney Eric Hertz, Attorney Gary Buchan, Attorney Camila Moore, Cliff Jones, Jared Preston, Alan Williams, our whole team of people who are committed, as I said, President Johnson, on this ferocious search for the truth of what really happened to Nolan Wells. But before we begin to discuss the intricacies of the preliminary findings,
they were calling him the Attorney General of the Black community, and it's the truth.
Yeah.
Of the independent autopsy, we think it would be appropriate for you all to hear from the people who knew Nolan Wells best, so they can thank you themselves and tell you about the trials and tribulations that they have been enduring since July 4th. July 4th will never be the same for them. I bring to the podium Nolan Wells' mother and father, Christine and Elmore. Please give them a warm NAACP welcome.
First of all, I want to say thank you all so much. Thank you to President Johnson as well as Chairman Russell. This has been a difficult journey. Losing a child, it truly breaks your heart. It is a pain that is just, you can't measure it. Especially someone like Nolan, who brought so much joy and light and life to everyone. You don't find too many genuine people like him. So to lose that light at such a young age under these circumstances has been absolutely difficult, which is why we've gone this route. There's so many people out in the public asking all of these questions, but the only question that we have is what happened to our son. That is the only question. We have consistently been degraded by the public. There's been questions about our parenting, our GoFundMe,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What's the public's issue with her?
Everybody finds a problem with something.
I mean, is it just like racist trolling?
Yeah, probably.
Or her parenting? He was an adult. He was a college student. You can't parent him anymore.
Yeah, but you know what people are going to say.
No, I don't.
Gross racist stuff.
So this is a race thing.
I think there might be a component of that, especially considering it's Mississippi and it was, a black person that was with a group of white kids, and there could be some animosity there between just, not the people actually involved, but the public that, is observing this.
Okay. I've met people from Mississippi, and this black woman sounds a lot more intelligent than they did. This is obviously a really good family.
Yeah.
Really educated family.
Yeah, I would agree.
I've been called a racist. I am a healthcare provider, and I take my job very seriously. I love everyone. And it's been difficult for us, but we are leaning into our faith, leaning into one another, also leaning into all of you. There are not enough thank yous, not enough appreciation for what you guys have done for us. And we love you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. And so it is our hope that our local authorities will do what they need to do, because us having the preliminary autopsy results and hearing nothing from them, it's heartbreaking and it's concerning, which again is why we are here, why we have asked for this help. So again, thank you all so much for your support. We appreciate you. We really do.
Every day I wake up, it's a new challenge. Knowing that a part of me I would never talk to, I would never hold, I would never play around with or get mad at, it's not here anymore. Nolan brought a lot of joy to our family. He was the wittiest one out of everyone. The clown. He loved to put in the work because he wanted to be the best. He wanted to make me and his mother proud, and we were so proud of him just for being the person that he was. He was loving. All his teachers knew him, but loved him. He walks in the room, his aura, you're automatically drawn to it. Never met an enemy. And if they were, they would eventually be friends because they would eventually bond. And it's going to be hard. He should be at football practice right now. Yeah. Calling me out to practice, Dad, I made this play, or I made that play, or I get a text with 3 or 4 videos of him doing this, run this route, making this block. And what you think I should do? And I will give him honest. Because I always tell him, if anyone is going to be totally honest with you, it's going to be me. It's not because I'm being mean, but people outside your family are going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to know to make you better. It's going to be hard for our family from here on out. And like I said, every day is a challenge. We're going to miss our son. And like my wife said, we just want honesty. We want to know what happened to our son, because the things that you're telling us, that's not the character of our son. We know our son. I understand, our children would do things that, they would kind of dumbfound us sometimes, but the things that we're being told, that wasn't Nolan. So please keep us in your prayers, keep them in your prayers. And we're going to keep pushing and fighting until we find answers. Thank you guys for your love and support.
Thank you so much, Christine and Nolan. Christine and Elmore, Nolan's mother and father. Before we start to go over the preliminary findings from the independent autopsy, we will hear from Attorney Lisa Park to tell you about who was the forensic pathologist who conducted the autopsy. Attorney Lisa Park.
Thank you. Dr. Roger Mitchell could not join us today, but we felt it important before we reveal and unfold this report that you understand who conducted this autopsy. Dr. Roger Mitchell is a physician and board-certified forensic pathologist with 2 decades of experience. He currently serves as the president of the National Medical Association, which is the oldest and largest group of Black physicians in the U.S. Most recently, he also served as president of Howard University Hospital, chief medical officer of the Howard University Faculty Practice Plan, and chair of the Department of Pathology. Before joining Howard, he served as chief medical examiner for Washington, D.C. from 2014 to 2021, and later as interim deputy mayor for the Public Safety and Justice. Dr. Mitchell has conducted and managed thousands of autopsies and is nationally recognized for his work at the intersection of medicine, public health, and justice. And for this case, we sought out the very best, and we are proud to be working with the very best.
Thank you, Attorney Park. I again want to express our gratitude to President Johnson, Chairman Russell, and the NAACP, because civil rights is more important than ever in the United States of America today. And so we thank you for the civil rights leaders stepping up to say that our children's lives matter now more than ever. And I want to thank all of you for getting up 8 in the morning. If people could see how many people are gathered here, they would say, you all are truly blessed to have the support of America, Christine and Elmore. And I want to thank the media for covering this matter.
Anyway, so you kind of see where they're going with this, right?
Yeah.
They didn't find anything. Everything's inconclusive, and I'm sure that they have more tests that take time for the results to come back. But
right. But there's nothing, no smoking gun.
Well, I read a couple things. One of them, was there was a gash to the back of his head. Then another one was they said that they couldn't tell if he was strangled because his throat was removed.
Oh, weird.
I don't know if they meant during the initial autopsy or what.
Maybe that's what they were getting at.
Yeah. So that's the only real Nolan Wells update.
Okay.
So you can do Turtleboy, Lindsay Clancy, or Bricks and Minifigs.
Let's do Bricks and Minifigs.
Okay, so a new Reckless Ben video was dropped on YouTube. He also has stuff on his Patreon, but I don't really want to show that.
Yeah,
But
let's not give away his Patreon.
Okay, doesn't Google own YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think maybe like he feels a type of way about YouTube right now because of the search warrant?
I don't know. Maybe.
Google just giving up all his info?
That's a good point. Like, but he depends on YouTube, I think, in terms of like where his core audience is. So
His Patreon seems to be doing pretty well, and he's almost exclusively releasing stuff on there, and I can see why. Look what the CEO of Patreon said.
yeah, maybe he's fed up with YouTube because of the Google stuff. That would make sense.
So anyway, I have a video we can watch. And then I looked into instances of police misconduct in that area.
Yeah.
And, mayor things, city council issues. And I did find a couple things that were disturbing. I also wrote a letter to the mayor of the American Fork in Utah. And I said I was going to read it. And I asked you to write a response. And after you read my email, you were like, I can't read that. We can't respond to this. We can't read this.
I didn't want to write a mock response for these people that are real people that got a very real email.
Okay. How do you feel about my email?
I thought it was a little aggressive.
Okay. Okay. I mean, we're a team, so I can't do that, but I might write another one.
Oh my God. Please don't harass the mayor's office of that small town. They're not gonna know how to deal with all that.
All right, so we're gonna watch the Reckless Ben video. Let me bring it up. Okay.
A bunch of new body cam footage came in. No one's ever seen it, and we're gonna watch it right now.
He came to harass us at our place. He's out of state.
Oh, somebody commented on like one of the videos we did. I think the last Bricks and Minifigs that I cut out and put up. Somebody just commented on it, and I think you called them insular.
What?
You said that Mormons were insular.
Oh, maybe I did.
And they're so offended.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
No, it's funny. It's so funny. Let me read the comment to you, and then you can publicly apologize.
Okay.
Insular, and then they have a timestamp. They have 88,500 missionaries in over 150 countries right now. There are more members outside the U.S. than inside, and more members in the U.S. which live outside Utah than inside. Think and research before you say stupid things.
My goodness. Sorry.
And I said, I don't really follow religions or cults.
Yeah.
That was my response.
But there's people.
No offense, all offense.
No offense, but yeah.
Right. Anyway,
sorry. I thought that Mormons were, they kept to their own kind. As I don't know if that's the right way to say it. They kept to their own communities, and they tried to exist within their own communities. I didn't realize they have these big missionary objectives, but again,
I think it's like a requirement, right?
Maybe. I don't think people should personally. I don't think people should run around spreading their religious beliefs to other people anyway. So, oh well.
Well, that's fair. I can tell you that I know, like, I've been really good friends with one Mormon, and I know his wife too, and they live in California, so they're not in Utah. They're LDS, and he might be one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, and I think really highly of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Mormons out there that are very well educated and very worldly, but yeah, my impression was that they tended to stay not humble, but stay like meek. I don't know.
just full disclosure, we may say things that sound ignorant to you about religion because we are ignorant to religion. We think that it's dumb and we don't spend any time learning about it.
That's correct. Yeah.
I have more things to do. So sorry we offended you. Sorry that you feel offended, whoever left the nasty comment, but also don't care. Anyway, let's watch this.
So this is filmed right after I get released from jail the first time because I got arrested because I was trying to serve them court papers to take them to court. They're just making up reasons for me to be arrested. But then I get out of jail because I paid for bond. I get out of jail. And now Ammon's just calling the police because he's like, you guys let Ben out of jail? Like, what the hell? Like, how could you guys do that? Ben needs to be in jail right now.
So he was arrested, and I think he was booked into the Utah County Jail. Okay. And he must have been released, even though he's an out-of-state, flight risk. He was released, and so he's a YouTuber that does this stuff for videos and clicks.
Okay.
He was arrested in California for doing this kind of trespassing and kind of stuff. Before, just I think in 2024.
Right.
My first time getting arrested ever was for serving my court papers.
This is my first time ever getting arrested.
This is my first time ever getting arrested, but I think Ammon's thinking, oh, well, if I lie to the police and make it seem like he's a criminal, maybe they'll just keep him in jail this time,
So that's what's happening. And so, but we he's also been passing fraudulent gift certificates to financially harmed.
Fraudulent gift certificates. Does he mean the Guinness World Record?
Oh, I was so confused. I've watched that part like 5 or 6 times. I was like, what's he mean gift certificates?
Yeah. I think he means the world record certificate. This is an award for most Legos stolen by any company in the world.
That is ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
He's fake certifications is what they're saying.
Yeah.
This fake certificate.
Yeah, it's a fake certificate.
Oh my gosh. People make those all the time.
Yeah. I don't know.
World's best dad. Like,
yeah, but don't be saying you're the world's best dad unless you can prove it,
How do you measure that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's what's going on. But at this point, I just need some information so I can tell our staff what is going on, because if I need to go and get some of my staff armed so that he can't threaten them, that's what I need to do. Or they're going to go find him and rearrest him because...
Armed? I need to get my staff armed at the Lego store. Okay,
Stop.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Arm him up.
He clearly had to violate...
Yeah, because, children are going to come in and they're, it'll make the children safer.
Well, Reckless Ben is reckless and he's dangerous, so you got to watch out for that Reckless Ben.
Right, but you can't have, armed people...
Yeah, no. It's ridiculous.
In a store that has, little kids that come into it.
Yeah, a store that kids regularly come into, people armed to the teeth.
Who put this guy in charge? Why is he the CEO of a company? That's crazy. Or no, this isn't the CEO. This is just the guy that owned the one store. Still, why would you put him in charge of a store? He wants to arm people.
He shouldn't be in charge of anything, but he's also a liar. He lies to the cops about Reckless Ben to try to get him arrested.
Some kind of rule. There's got to be something to stop this guy from continuing to intimidate our staff.
Yeah, how'd you guys let this guy out of jail? If we let this guy out of jail, he's gonna kill our staff. How can you possibly think of letting this guy out of jail?
You watch this? I feel like you're just like, dude, this is hilarious. I'm like, dude, this pisses me off.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. What the heck? He's literally lying through his freaking teeth.
I don't know what has been done since he was arrested yesterday.
Sure.
We all sighed a big sigh of relief this morning knowing that he was arrested last night. Yeah. And then to have this happen all over again, everyone's feeling some pretty significant trauma that he's just not going to stop.
So it's not the police or corrections that let him out. That's going to be a judge, right?
Trauma. Well, we're all going through trauma.
So that would be a complaint that would have to be directed towards their office to find out what's the deal? Why would you let this guy out when he's stalking us? Right? That's
yeah. So really quick. Sorry, let me grab a pen. Who do I contact for that?
What are you talking to me about this for? Talk to the judge.
The police officer's we tried to keep him in jail until his court case for a month, but the stupid judge let him out. So don't complain to me, complain to the judge.
Yeah. What are you doing? I suggest you put all all evidence that you have against this guy on that.
He acts really like cutesy, like he's clearly got some form of sociopathic disorder, because he lies through his teeth. He says and does whatever he can to just get away with whatever he wants. Again, multiple arrests, I think, in the past in different states.
So obviously, if you look in the police records, you can see that I've never been arrested before. But because Ammon says so, maybe the police will just listen to Ammon, you know?
His word every single time. They're taking his word over your evidence. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
His mustache makes him more credible.
He does have a
that's
very
his
credible mustache.
Yeah. The mustache gives him all the credibility in the world. You know,
Yeah.
his mustache makes him look like he should be like riding around on a unicycle. That guy.
Yeah, he does have
That's another charge, obviously. I mean, we'll stack him until he leaves you guys alone, I guess. You know what I mean? Or they put him in jail, one or the other.
Dude, that's so insane to freaking say. Basically, I think Ammon lied to them saying that there's a restraining order when there wasn't. And so he's like, oh, well, that's another charge. And we're just going to keep making up charges about me until I'm in jail for good is kind of what it sounds like. Even though the evidence goes against everything you say, I want to help you out, Ammon, because
I can stack, I'll try to stack it on this stalking case.
Oh my God, dude. Does he not know that he's recorded?
I am just going to figure this out here. Okay, sir. I'm going to call the jail, and then I will meet you over there, okay?
Okay, perfect. See you in a little bit.
Yep, bye.
Well, that's conspiracy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Abrams with Orem Police Department. How you doing? You guys.
What's up?
I feel like these cops didn't. I feel like they thought they were doing the right thing. They're like, oh, this is this local business that we deal with, and they're being harassed by this YouTuber. We're gonna help out the local business, but they don't have enough context to know what's going on.
Right.
Let a guy go this morning. It sounds like they was released from the jail today.
Officer Abrams?
Yep. Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yep. Man, is there any way I can use your bathroom?
Yeah,
real quick?
sure. Right back here.
My body camera.
He had too much coffee and he has to poop really bad.
Yeah, it's gotta go.
Yeah.
Diuretic.
Off and setting it down for a second so I can use the bathroom.
Oh, they're gonna show him pooping?
I hope not. I hope he turns off his body cam for that.
Yeah, turn off your body camera, dude. You're in that bathroom. That's disgusting.
You shouldn't be doing this stuff, right? You know what I mean? All 5 of them should be charged.
basically what they're saying now is not only should we put Ben in jail for forever for trying to serve these court papers, we should put all 5 of his team members in jail for trying to take you guys to court. You guys don't deserve to go to court, and anyone that tries to take you to court, we're going to put them in jail indefinitely.
They started threatening to kill some of the staff. And so they're just like, hey, if you don't, we're gonna kill you if you don't give this guy his money back and all this other stuff, and like all these things. And so we're like, dude, like you guys have to go through the appropriate legal channels. This guy has nothing.
I'm not sure like what this guy's looking at. His eyes are all over the place.
Yeah,
to do with it, other than he just gets off on making videos and like if you look him up again, he goes by the name of YouTube, and he films himself doing illegal things all the time, and then he gets his videos taken down. Do all sorts of research on him.
His videos aren't taken down.
This guy's just making stuff up.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with. Is a guy who, like, honest to goodness, he's a sociopath. Because we've done some additional searches on him. He has it appears that a relative of his, because he's originally from Ohio and then he moved to LA. Some relative of his with the same name, like based on what we can piece together, was convicted of child porn or child sexual contact. Some of these.
This guy's just dropping every
making
single
stuff up.
thing
He's
he
like,
can.
This guy's terrible. He's a
You want
terrible
to talk
person.
about you want to talk about a whopper? Jeez, he's just it's like lie after lie. Like one of these lies has to stick.
Yeah, he's desperate. I was gonna say he's desperate to get them to pay attention and try to hold Reckless Ben, or punish Reckless Ben in some way. But it's the lies don't amount to anything. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but I mean, he goes to child porn immediately. He's just saying things that are very provocative, and any of them to get to.
Yeah.
He has a relative that was arrested for that. What does that have to do with him?
What does that even mean? Yeah.
So there's a very real chance that he may have been abused as a child, but that set him through a mental disorder, and whatever the case may be, he's clearly a sociopath. He does not
Oh, okay, sure.
care about the system.
My whole family's pretty close, and I'm 99.999999999% sure that's not true. But if it is true, I would like to know who that is. So, because that's probably important information for me if there is someone in my family that's like that. But Just a really quick update. I think we found the guy that Ammon's talking about.
Athens man is sentenced after he was found guilty of 110 felony counts for recording and distributing child pornography from his home. Benjamin Schneider is sentenced to 8 years in prison.
Okay, this is for our Mormon friend that we offended. I hope you watch this so that you can hear what I'm about to say. Unless you're Amish, if you have a last name, that doesn't mean like you're related to everyone else with the same last name. Unless you're in Amish country and it's Yoder, you're not related to all of the Schneiders. That's a fairly common name, not the most common, but it's common.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it might work differently in some of these religious communities. So
I was gonna say you might not want to talk about the Amish. You don't want to offend anybody, but they don't.
they don't watch YouTube.
No, they don't watch YouTube, so we can talk about what we want.
So yeah, I guess this guy also got charged in Ohio, and he has a very similar name to me. It's actually the exact same name as me. And maybe he thought that this person was me. Maybe that explains why he's saying I have been arrested multiple times. I mean, clearly this person is not me. I mean, but also maybe Ammon's not the smartest person in the world, so maybe he thought that we were the same person. I don't know, but this is the closest I was able to find of what Ammon could be talking about.
We know this guy's a sociopath, and so we are very afraid for our staff. And these guys coming in, they've threatened people before. They don't care about the law, right? And that's what makes us very scared, is because again, like,
What do you think that the guy in the doorway on the cell phone is texting right now?
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. I think he's listening to this guy's BS, and he's like, "What is this guy saying?"
He's like, "I need another job. This guy's insane."
Yeah.
kind of asking a serious question. In your opinion, would you go get a shotgun and bring it in the store?
He keeps asking, like, so, like, you're the police officers, you think it's a good idea that we should have guns to defend ourselves next time Reckless Ben comes in, right? I think what he's trying to do is, because Josh Johnson said he was going to shoot us just for trying to serve him papers.
Holy crap, dude. Wait, hold on. This is insane. So he's basically asking, hey, officers, do you think it's a good idea for me to have a gun, a shotgun, in case this guy comes around again? So he can get the okay from the police officer. Yeah. So he's like, hey, the officer said I can, insinuating that he can kill you. So the police officer told me to do this. Like, I'm just within my rights. He was trying to kill me, and I'm just defending myself. Yeah, he's trying to come up with a reason to justify murdering us, I think, which... This is actually insane. Yeah, it's a little scary, but
in a situation like this where some people we feel like are in danger.
I personally encourage people who are able to carry legally to carry.
Okay, so that's basically all the footage after I got arrested of them freaking out, and I think that kind of explains why, because a few hours later we do the GoFundMe. Sheldon gets arrested just for promoting this GoFundMe, and then they send a whole SWAT team of police officers to my house to just arrest everyone. So basically Ammon's doing what I like to call the 3-year-old method, which is basically if a 3-year-old really wants something, they're not getting it, what do they usually do?
Whine, cry, kick the back of the seat when they're in the car.
Basically this. That's kind of what Ammon's doing. Like, Ammon at first isn't really getting what he wants. It's like, I mean, I guess he got me arrested, but then I get out of jail, and he's like, oh, shoot, if I just keep saying he's stalking us, they're not going to keep him in jail for stalking. I got to make up some story to put him back in jail. It's exactly what a 3-year-old would do, right? And then he says, we're going to murder him. He's like, we're threatening him. And
he's not getting what he wants, so he just keeps, like, whining and crying. He's like, they're doing this.
And we
keep threatening.
Yeah, and we can't, honestly, we can't really get mad at Ammon for doing this because, I mean, we used to do the same thing also, right? Like literally everyone used to do this. But then we turned like 5 years old and we
grew out of it.
Yeah, like we turned 5 and then we realized that this was not the correct method to do what we want. Yeah, basically the person that sent me all this body cam footage asked if I could respond to what Ammon's saying. So I'm saying my official response to Ammon is goo goo gaga. I feel like that's the appropriate way to respond.
I agree.
Yeah.
Goo goo gaga.
To someone who's acting like a baby. And send. So after this phone call, they arrest Sheldon for just promoting our GoFundMe and sent a bunch of SWAT team members to like SWAT our house, which kind of makes more sense to me now based on what Ammon was saying. But anyways, let's fast forward a little bit. We posted the video, and this is, I think, 5 days after we posted the video now. Matt McNeff, Ammon's brother, calls the police. I don't really think he had a crime. He's just kind of like complaining about our video. No, for real. Let me see.
Yeah, so it's my brother and I have a franchise called Bricks and Minifigs that we run. He was filming and making this pseudo journalistic documentary that he, that's what he's claiming it is. Yeah. He released that documentary on Friday, and our lives have been nothing but hell since then. Once this YouTuber released this video, our franchisees are getting targeted harassment review bombs. They're destroying people's lives and making it has been it has been a nightmare.
He's not even reporting a crime to the police. He's just like complaining about how bad, how much he dislikes the video.
Aren't you supposed to call the cops when there's an emergency?
The cops basically just being the dude's therapist at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's rough. He's trying to say that the American Port Police, our company, and the LDS Church are all colluding now in protecting our franchisee, and it's one big giant conspiracy. I mean, it's insanity. It's just rage bait and clickbait, and he is causing significant serious harm. This has got to slow down.
What, remind me, do you know the title of the video on YouTube? I'd like to include that link on the report.
The YouTube creator is like, again, we feel like we've tried the whole way through to do the right thing here.
This entire time, Bricks and Minifigs, they say they've been trying to do the right thing the whole time, and it's literally just been as easy as give the dude his Legos back. Like, they're just sitting in an empty store right now that you guys aren't even planning on selling them anymore. It'd be so easy for you just to give them back, but that would fix this whole thing, but they didn't. So, wait. So it's because they've caused so much like punitive damage now. Like they've put Brian on medication. He's been having panic attacks. They've tried ruining his whole life and all this other stuff. Now it's a little bit more complicated than just giving the Legos back now. Basically, our lawyers are saying that this is gonna be a slam dunk case. We could just get millions and millions of dollars out of them and just like basically bankrupt their entire company. So Bricks and Minifigs will get completely destroyed. Or we've given them another easy way now.
They can say that they're sorry by doing the chicken dance. And I will take that as a sincere form of apology. And once they do the chicken dance, then I will know that Bricks and Minifigs are sorry. And we can finally move on to the next video series. It'll be awesome.
But it's weird. Bricks and Minifigs still hasn't done the chicken dance yet, which to me makes me feel like they think doing the chicken dance will cause them hundreds of millions of dollars worth of damage. They're that scared of doing the chicken dance. They think that by them doing the chicken dance, it's probably, I don't know, but they think that's a worse decision than destroying their $100 million company and all of the innocent franchises that have nothing to do with this. They think it's worth destroying all their franchises just so they don't have to do the chicken dance. Their time is running out, and they have 1 week left as of me posting this video right now, and then there's going to be a third thing. So right now, it's just give the Legos back and do the chicken dance. But if they wait 1 more week, then they're going to have to do 3 things. But whatever this street is, it's the street Joshua Johnson lives on. They will have to rename this street Reckless Ben Street. That way, every time Josh drives home, he's gonna have to see, oh, I live on Reckless Ben Street now. This sucks, you know? Yeah, just as they're stacking the charges to throw us in jail forever, we're stacking the list of demands before they can get out of this mess.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're gonna keep stacking them until their whole company's destroyed. Stacking week after week, month after month, year after year.
I think they probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, even infinity after infinity, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep stacking this list of demands all the way up. It never stops. Give the Legos back. It won't stop until the Legos.
Anyways, subscribe to Patreon. You'll get to see lots of behind the scenes, like full interviews. I just posted a full interview of us talking to the chief of police.
Man, you guys are like, right? So we're just trying to right the wrong. Whatever that looks like.
Basically, he's saying that his police department messed up, and the whole interview's on Patreon. Also, part 4 is halfway filmed. We're almost done filming part 4. It's the most insane video we've ever filmed in our entire lives. Tell him, Victor. Yeah, no spoilers. It kind of sucks because we're still undercover in part 4, but part 4 is gonna be super sick. Everyone's saying that the Lego videos are wrapping up. I think the Lego series is actually just started. A bunch of new body cam footage came in.
Oh, Reckless Ben.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
What do you
that
think?
That guy's a liar. He is a real scumbag, and he's you can tell he's one of those people that has like gotten away with making stuff up about people before. Now he thinks it's like his secret sauce. It's like, oh, I'm gonna tell the story about Reckless Ben, and he's dangerous and blah blah blah. It's like it's not real.
So you know how I do like this like little baby voice, and I say it's little Chris.
You started doing that, yes.
Maybe I'll do that for this guy.
Okay.
And then you're off the hook. All right, we got Turtleboy and Lindsay Clancy. Lindsay Clancy is obviously going to be really heavy, and Turtleboy not so heavy. So what do you want?
Let's do Turtleboy.
Okay, so Turtleboy this week, they got to argue the Mega Motion that Turtleboy's attorney Mark Betterow drafted, and I don't really need to show you the court video because it's summed up afterwards really, really well. So what I'm going to play for you is the debrief outside of the courthouse. And it looks like this is Justice Served TV. So this is Michael Bryant, who is going to be interviewing.
Okay.
Let me bring it up.
Decide what to do. They're fact finders. They are there
to determine whether there's probable cause to believe a crime was committed. It's a safeguard. The grand jury is every bit as much as designed to prevent false or improper charges from being brought as much as rubber stamping indictments for prosecutors. They have every right to seek indictments and present evidence as they see fit in support of an indictment, but they have to do it fairly. They have to do it with integrity, and a prosecutor, I mean, I've put hundreds of cases as a prosecutor in a grand jury. You have a duty of fair dealing. You are the legal advisor to the grand jury. There's no judge. There's no one there. And if you have a prosecutor who runs roughshod over a defendant's rights in a grand jury, you get situations like this where you have a prosecutor instructing the grand jury that his opinion and the lead detective's opinion is that a particular target had the intent to commit a crime. You can't do that. You can't present uncharged crimes and not give what are called curative instructions, telling a grand jury to disregard that. The answer isn't, well, we didn't seek an indictment, so who cares if the grand jury heard that you committed another crime that may be punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment. There is no world in any grand jury in any state in this nation in which that is appropriate. And that's just the beginning. You don't rename videos. You tell the grand jury, these are the videos, and the grand jury will do whatever they're going to do. They'll indict or they won't. But you can't put your finger on the scales. You don't change the names. You don't tell them someone's intent. You don't tell them the opinion of intent. You don't charge somebody with all of these crimes in this so-called rolling rally and have a soup to nuts A to Z video of the rolling rally and not give that to the grand jury, except to clip 50 seconds out of it and say, don't feel bad for the O'Keefes. This came from the intent folder. And by the way, he's not charged with any crimes against the O'Keefes, but this is how we're going to finish the case. That's not what prosecutors do. And whatever the ruling of this case will be, if the judge believes some of these issues were waived, he will do whatever he will do. But don't think for a second there is any world in which the conduct of the prosecutor and the lead detective before this grand jury was proper. It was the exact opposite of proper.
Let's go back to the very beginning. This was filed September 27. Is there any possibility that the judge heard anything today that could affect what he already knew coming into today?
I don't know. I mean, that's up to the judge. You could ask lawyers about whether oral arguments in anything ever impact courts. I mean, the papers are there. The case law is the case law. I don't want to speculate what the judge is thinking. He's very inquisitive, as you know, and he was the last time. He was this time. And, as lawyers, you expect that. And that's part of what it is. Judges have questions. You answer them as best you can.
Judge seemed to really zero in on the high standard for a renewed motion to dismiss. But if I'm correct, Mr. Betterow, you didn't have access to a lot of this material when you filed your first motion to dismiss.
We did not have access to a lot of discoverable material that we believe would have been relevant to some of the grand jury proceedings. We didn't have other discoverable material, which is just generally relevant to the defense. And so the argument on top of how it would impact the grand jury is that we're going to file a motion to dismiss anyway for other reasons. There's no prejudice to the prosecution in adding on some of this. As far as the waiver issue or whatnot, if you go back and read the initial decision by Judge Doolin in this case, it was a thoughtful decision. It was a long decision, but he didn't know either. I mean, that's kind of the point, is that everyone was bamboozled by the way they did this. And at the end of the day, there's no prejudice to the prosecution in this. And when we talk about, not choosing form over substance, that's what we mean. This grand jury indictment is flawed. It's awful. It's not how prosecutors are supposed to indict people they believe have committed crimes. And, we can either just rubber stamp it and say it doesn't matter, or dismiss it, which is what is appropriate.
The judge did ask Mr. Cosgrove, well, why not just give him everything? Were you satisfied with his answer?
Well, no. I believe the answer was let him ask for it. But how do you ask for what you don't know exists because you're being misled on what it exists? You're being played clips of videos that are mislabeled. You're not told that there are 2 hours. Again, I hate to go on my own experience and anyone else who's a prosecutor. It's very simple. If you want to play a clip You introduce the actual exhibit. This is the video of his show from whenever, and this is what it's titled. And the title would be, the rally for justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, not don't feel sorry for the O'Keefes. If you play 58 seconds of the clip, then you say, I'm playing timestamp this to this of a video, and you introduce the whole video, and you let the grand jury look at it. Now, if you don't want to play 17 hours of video, okay, but it's the grand jury as the fact finder. They have a right to know it. And the point that was being made is, if more of this video was available, or if they were doing this as honest brokers, you would have realized that intent can be.
So, do you understand what they're talking about right now?
I think so.
So, in the grand jury, what the defense is saying is Kate Peter took some of Turtleboy's videos and made clips out of them that are particularly damning, right?
Yeah.
So, if I were to say, oh my God, I hate you, but I'm just kidding. I wish you no harm.
Yeah.
They would clip that to just be like, oh my God, I hate you.
Yeah.
So one of the big things that they have to prove is intent, what his intention was in saying these things. And they have to prove, or the prosecution has to prove, that his intent was to bully and harass them, taint the jury pool, all of these reasons that he's giving.
Yeah.
So it seems like it'll be difficult because Turtleboy usually says what his intent is, which is he wants justice for John O'Keefe, and he wants the people who actually killed him to, they're also arguing that what Turtleboy was doing was petitioning the government. And I don't disagree with that. He has a really loud, vivacious way of doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't want to piss Turtleboy off.
No, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, no, he's very resourceful in that respect.
Contextual. You take one sentence out of a 2-hour statement and say that shows his intent. Context matters. Okay, if you're petitioning, if you're protesting, and you say I want to influence the public opinion in that context, is that trying to intimidate a witness, or is that trying to bring justice and awareness to what you think is invalid prosecution of someone else?
Let me add something on that. Michael, Mark and I know from close to 20 years of collective prosecutorial experience that what they did in the grand jury was highly suspect, unprecedented. You don't rename evidence, and you don't cherry pick evidence. The Odell case, which talks about misconduct and misleading the grand jury, talks about presenting an incomplete picture of things. And that's exactly what they did here, taking, what was it, 58 seconds?
They took 58
2
hours. And the problem is, and this was said in court, but when the testimony is
58 seconds of like a 2-hour video.
Yeah.
I have a video from a folder named intent, and it is named that. That's the evidence the grand jury hears. There is no actual evidence of a folder named intent. That was created by them. Okay, that's not real evidence. That is their editorial commenting on what we believe the actual evidence is, and you're only going to see 58 seconds of it, but not even have access to the rest. And the one question that everyone should ask themselves when you think about this is, there are how many counts of picketing? Okay, the entire rolling rally is on a video that they cherry picked 58 seconds. Again, any prosecutor would tell you, if I have a video of the crime, play it and sit down and say, ladies and gentlemen of the grand jury, here it is. Instead, when you ask Detective Tully, it's from an intent folder, and the video is renamed, whether it's by him or someone else, and you don't tell the grand jury that you have evidence of the rolling rally. Why would you do that? What prosecutor would ever choose hearsay evidence and improper opinion evidence, other than the best possible evidence you could ever have of any crime, which is simply hitting play on a video and saying, here's what he did? And the answer is because they don't want you to see that. They don't want you to see what's protesting, what is news gathering, what is drawing attention, what is petitioning the government.
His true intent. All those statements of his true intent
that's
that
right.
were omitted.
And if a grand jury determines that we still think there was an intent to intimidate witnesses, then you have to live with that, and there's an indictment. But you can't rig the process. This process was rigged from start to finish. That's all.
Mr. Federer, do you intend to continue with your request to bring in Ms. Peter, Mr. Tully, and Mr. Mello for an evidentiary hearing before trial?
We asked for it. It's an alternative thing. I mean, look, if there are issues related to that curious relationship and evidence that was provided, we think they ought to answer those questions under oath. It was very telling in the motion response that we never got an explanation from Mr. Mello. I mean, that is the most obvious affidavit that should be submitted by a prosecutor in response to his alleged misconduct. And that didn't happen here. And the question is why? That's important as far as, civilians who could be part of that process. There are communications that were discussed in court, which are curious, talking about evidence that may or may not have been used in the grand jury. There are, issues as to whether there is personal bias and animus, which is always relevant to a witness's credibility. Nothing could be more relevant to impeaching a witness than showing that they have an actual bias against the person that you're trying to provide evidence with. All of this is important. And, so that was part of our ask, was absolutely for a hearing.
Just one follow-up on that. Mr. Proctor, in some of the release message through Rosemary Scapiccio's motions, said outright that Irish people should die from lack of access to potatoes. Why does that not put your client in the exact same situation as Miles King or any other defendant?
It does, Grant.
I didn't see that one.
We were the OGs of this motion, by the way, guys. We asked for this stuff, 9 months ago? Yeah. 9 months ago, we asked for this stuff, and there's different standards for Aiden, as we all know.
Let me suggest to you, just again, without getting into the stuff about Proctor's racism, neo-Nazism, misogyny, whatever else you want to add to it. Look, he obviously had a personal bias towards him. We can't really speak to that because some of those messages are not publicly available. But we also alleged in a publicly filed motion that he might have taken some liberties when he testified in the grand jury about what he observed during the rolling rally. And again, they used Proctor's testimony, which I would suggest he was not accurate about fact, rather than the actual video. Why would you do that?
Hey, you need to pet that cat.
Oh, I'm petting her. Trust me.
Okay, because she needs that.
And if you have messages in which Michael Proctor is talking about or musing aloud about whether he could ram a pole up someone's rectum and plant evidence in the process, how different is that than possibly lying about what was seen on...
Yes. Say black girls for Turtleboy?
Get in here. Come on,
I mean, it's the rolling rally video is 2 hours long. If imagine a defendant videotaped themselves robbing a bank and they didn't submit that video at their indictment, that tells you everything you need to know about what they consider a crime.
It's worse than that because they did submit 58 seconds of that video and rename it "Don't Feel Sorry for the O'Keefes," and the O'Keefes are not charged alleged victims in the indictment. That's another uncharged crime, just like the wiretapping allegation, put at the very end for the only purpose to be smear him and inflame the passions of the grand jury about this guy says don't feel sorry for the O'Keefes with no context. That is putting your finger on a scale. That is not how prosecutors are supposed to behave, and they know it.
We think that alone should throw this thing out.
To what extent does the Luddite nature of some of the, in this case, somewhat, but in other cases, or the landscape of Massachusetts courts, so this Luddite nature of not understanding the platforms of YouTube, the reach, the purpose, what Twitter is used for, et cetera. You think that's going to play into what the judge and potentially a jury thinks here?
I don't think this judge is there's a concern about his understanding of social media or anything like that, or what YouTube is. I mean, look, people say things on YouTube. Our only point maybe in the back and forth with the judge was that context does matter. And there's no world, I think, in which you're ever going to find any lawyer who's going to say it's okay to cherry pick and then conceal the rest and at least not give the fact finder the opportunity. People make jokes about grand juries indicting ham sandwiches. The famous Saul Walkler, former judge in the New York Court of Appeals, came up with that statement in the 80s. But grand juries are also designed to stop frivolous or false or improper charges. And there is this muscle memory between lawyers and prosecutors where they think it's an impediment that we have to get through, and it's a joke. This grand jury was treated as a joke by the prosecutors, and it's not. Okay, a grand jury is in the pretrial stage is the last line of defense as a check on the government to make sure that the charges even have cause and are warranted. And it exists. If people don't like it, then get rid of it, like some states have. But it does exist. They have to follow the rules.
One second, let me add. That's a great question. The jurors are not. We don't have a problem with jurors being up to speed on the internet and social media. We look at the jurors' social media as they're coming in the door. We're right there with the computer at trial, looking at their social media, and they all have tons of social media. They're an open book. It's easy to see what they have to say. It's not the jurors, it's the court. The court system has a long way to go, and they view any sort of public scrutiny. I know Aiden's going to agree with this. Any sort of public scrutiny they view as an assault to be avoided somehow, to be the subject of a protective order, to cut off public access. That's sort of a knee-jerk response the court has. But the jurors are great. The court needs some work.
Given the questions around all the facts in this case, I'm curious what you make of this idea that when we heard that Tully received clips from a third party and then reinvestigated them, re-looked at them, re-clipped them, re-uploaded them, etc. Is that something that we should be questioning?
Of course you should be questioning that. And the problem is Tully said, I don't look at them. I don't click on them because I don't look at third party things. And then it gets lost and deleted by a third party. And then you get emails a year and a half after specific demands for such emails in which Mello and the third party are talking about. And he says, I can't open this. What do I do? And the third party tells him how to open it. He says, thank you, 2 days before the grand jury starts. So again, I don't know what they did in the grand jury, but I know something stinks here and we need to get to the bottom of it. That's to Grant's question, perhaps why a hearing is necessary.
Do you expect this to be tried here in this courthouse?
Kind of the impression I got when we left here today. It sounds like a Boston trial.
December.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like jurors, if there is a trial, will be taking a bus ride. But
We'll
again,
come out in the snow.
Did you see Turtle Boy's like facial expression when that
No.
question came up?
No.
Let me go back just like a touch.
that's why a hearing is necessary.
Do you expect this to be tried here in this courthouse?
Kind of the impression I got when we left here today. It sounds like a Boston trial.
December.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this judge is in Boston, right? And he will have a Norfolk County jury, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they'd have to bust them in. And like, it would be impossible for him to go every day to Boston. So he's going to have to stay in Boston somewhere. And he's going to have to pay for a hotel for his lawyers, not Bradle, because he's local, but Bettero. He's going to have to put him up in a hotel during trial. It's going to be so unbelievably expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what that face was about. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be cheaper if they could just do it in Norfolk County or, somewhere else without super high, crazy traffic. Because traffic in Boston is nuts.
Right. Yeah. I don't know anything about it.
It's like more gridlocked than New York City.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like jurors, if there is a trial, will be taking a bus ride. But
We'll
again,
come out in the snow, the rain, the cold weather. It doesn't matter. We've got your back. Aiden.
So Aiden, I know we don't want this to be a jury trial. We want the judge to perhaps do the right thing and analyze Mr. Bettero's fine argument and come away with the decision that we think is appropriate. However, in the real world, if this goes to a jury, are you anxious to tell that story in full?
Yeah, I'm excited to tell the story in full. I mean, if they want to if they want to relitigate everything that happened and give me the forum to explain why I do what I do and why I did what I did, I'm happy to do that. The fact of the matter is they're hiding my videos. They don't, because on that 2-hour rolling rally, I say my intent over and over again. We are there for justice for John O'Keefe. We are not there to intimidate anyone. If you actually watch the videos, I am under the impression that none of them are even home. How can you intimidate people who aren't even there? I am there to spread the word, to bring awareness to this, and to pressure the government to do the right thing, which is to drop the charges, to avoid quite frankly, the embarrassment. That's what happened to them. They were embarrassed on an international level.
you have to remember a grand jury is as one-sided as it gets. There's no judge. If you have a prosecutor running amok, as occurred in this case, it makes it worse. There's no cross-examination. There's no defense case. There's no defense argument. In the event that there's a trial here, there will be two parties at the dance, introducing all kinds of other evidence that might be relevant. There's no world in which a trial would occur in this case in which anybody's going to introduce evidence that says, don't feel sorry for the O'Keefes, 58 seconds, when it's a 2-hour video of saying, how do we get justice for a woman who was wrongfully being prosecuted at the time? And I believe that this officer is corrupt and this and that. All of that will be fair game and will be used, as we argue today, to show context of intent. And it also has to be beyond a reasonable doubt at a trial, not, as they wanted to do here, just rubber stamping a ham sandwich.
Mr. Bradle, any thought that there might be additional proctor material you're going to get your hands on that'll be helpful in this case?
We think there's a lot out there that we're going to be interested in, and that's what we're going to hash out in the next 2 weeks. We're 90% there with Attorney Cosgrove. We don't think that Aiden should be subject to any different rules than every other litigant, and that seems to be what always happens here, is that there's a whole different standard for when Aiden's involved in a case, and we're going to put a stop to that. We've had it. We want the same protective order that everybody else has, and we expect to get that, and we're going to talk to Attorney Cosgrove, and I think he'll be reasonable on that.
I think his response was very practical, given to what it was initially when we asked for this months ago, which was he's not involved in the investigation and he's not going to be a prosecution witness. That ship has sailed. His credibility will be very relevant, and he may not want to be a witness to anything, but he will be a witness in this case, and he'll be called by us.
To be clear, though, does he need to have said, I have prejudice against white Irish guys in their 40s to be considered a problematic investigator in this case?
No, but again, he has a bias, and I can't get into the specifics of what some of those biases are. I mean, some of it's been said before or elsewhere. I'm not going to say it. But if somebody is involved in an investigation and is having communications with other state troopers involved in the investigation, saying things that no one should ever be saying about a target of their investigation, and then it turns out, you see what's going on here, a jury should know about that and should be able to, again, as fact finder, like grand jurors on a lesser scale, use that as part of their analysis to determine, is this investigation credible, or is this a witch hunt? Is this to silence someone who is saying things, by the way, about us? Okay, the reality is the state police should have been conflicted off this case 2.5 years ago. And that's something that never gets discussed. They had no business investigating a case in which a journalist was loudly screaming that you people are corrupt. And as more and more comes out about them, it turns out a lot of people tend to agree with what he said.
What does the sign say right here?
Yeah. Turtleboy was right.
Coded language. Coded language. But that's another great question. The idea that you have to have the particular bias is crazy, right? Some people will probably say that. Well, he doesn't. He's okay with Irish people, but anybody that lets their racial biases rather than the evidence drive an investigation, that is fair game for anybody. All right.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So it looks like it's probably going to go to trial, but I didn't expect anything to come out of the Mega Motion. So
yeah,
I mean, I haven't seen a ruling on it yet, but I don't. It seems like these judges just I think they described it best when they said they just want to kick the can.
Yeah,
they don't want to be the one to dismiss this case.
No,
they just want a jury to sort it out, so they're not responsible.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. You ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay. We are going to do Lindsay Clancy. So I have a video that I want to kind of end this with, which was a psychiatrist, I think he's in Australia, that did this amazing video where he's just kind of explaining his theory on Lindsay Clancy, which is really, really eye-opening. But I do want to give some updates on the jury selection.
Okay.
So Monday, the jury selection began. They did address some motions first. The prosecutor claimed that the witness list for the defense was unfair and moaned about it over and over and over again. And there was a judgment that they can have the witnesses, but they are going to make decisions at the time on the fly, whether or not they can testify if it's relevant. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I guess, well, they just presented this to the prosecution, right? So I guess it's not really, they don't see it as fair because she claimed they don't have time to vet these people. But some of them are we talked about before, Dr. LaPosada, everybody knows who she is. And I think when she was challenged with that, her response was, of course I'm familiar with Dr. LaPosada. That's not the point. It's no, it is the point because you just said that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The judge seemed a little bit put off by the witness list too. So we'll see. Tuesday updates. Her lawyer was asking the judge to limit the prosecution to testimony from just one of the 18 police officers, firefighter, and EMT who responded, saying we don't need to hear from all of them. We could just hear from maybe one if they're all going to say the same thing. Repeated testimony would be prejudicial to her. That's a motion in limine, paper filing. It has not yet been argued. Wednesday updates. So far, there were 17 jurors, 10 women and 7 men that have been seated. They want a total of 18. So they want at least one more. Tomorrow is supposed to be the final day of jury selection and pretrial motions, and then opening statements begin on Friday.
Wow.
One of the motions was filed by Patrick Clancy. He is asking the court to keep certain evidence from being publicly displayed during trial. He wants the judge to restrict public access to the audio of his initial 911 call, photographs of the children, including pre-incident crime scene and autopsy images, and any clothing that belongs to the children. The filing does not seek to block access for prosecutors or the defense, but so that the materials are only viewed by the judge, attorneys, witnesses, court staff, and jury, which makes perfect sense to me. You know, he's being a good dad.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to bring up this video. Let me bring it up and then pause it because I had it paused like just. Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yay. So this is him, Dr. I think it's Joseph.
Okay.
It might be Joseph. I think it's Joseph.
On January 24th, 2023, Lindsay Clancy from Massachusetts took the lives of her 3 young children and then attempted to take her own life by throwing herself out the second-story window of her home. She ended up permanently paralyzed. Now, Lindsay was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, and her jury trial begins in 4 days on July 20th. However, what makes this case very interesting is that Lindsay is blaming medical malpractice for the death of her children and her paralysis. She is alleging that the psychiatrists who were looking after her treated her with a dangerous cocktail of medications that led to psychosis and the events that unfolded. And so today I'm going to be breaking down this case as a board-certified psychiatrist, an expert in psychiatric drug side effects, and also as someone who sees multiple people with serious adverse reactions to psychiatric medications in my private practice on a daily basis. So let's jump into it. We're going to start with a news clip to give you an overview of the case.
Lindsay Clancy sat without emotion in her wheelchair during this pretrial hearing. She's charged with first-degree murder for the strangulation deaths of her 3 young children in their Duxbury home in January 2023. Clancy's lawyer is mounting what in essence is an insanity defense.
And an involuntary intoxication defense.
It's expected he'll try to convince a jury that Clancy was not criminally responsible, that she was over-medicated in treatment for postpartum psychosis.
From a human nature standpoint, I wouldn't want anyone to have to be in there to look at gruesome photographs of little babies slaughtered and cut up and butchered in autopsy photo. No, but that's what they want to do. So that's part of a trial. We'll make a decision if she's going to have to sit there through it.
This trial is expected to last 4 to 6 weeks. Jury selection is slated to begin on July 20th.
Okay, so let's jump into some of the details of what actually happened in this case. And what I'd like to share with you off the bat is when you're assessing for involuntary intoxications, you know, essentially a defense of the drug making work, you are always going to be looking for alternative explanations for the behavior. Now, in something like murder, what are the alternative explanations? Well, the person had a past history of aggressive behavior. Maybe they were abusive. Maybe they had problems with alcohol. Maybe they had severe unstable mental illness. All of those things could play into it. Now, what's interesting about Lindsay Clancy is she had none of these things. She had no prior history of severe mental illness. She had a few episodes of mood instability following the birth of her first 2 children. However, aside from that, she was a doting and loving mother of 3. She was a wife. She was a nurse, and she never had any of these problems. She didn't even take psychiatric medications previously. So essentially, the prosecution, who is going to try and pin murder on her, is trying to say that she was secretly a psychopath or something like that, that she was harboring these feelings and they were premeditated, and it just came out of the blue and no one expected that. I think that's actually a pretty weak case. And what I want to do with you now is actually go through the argument her lawyers are putting forward for her malpractice case. So let's jump into it. Okay, so this was filed at the start of this year. Okay, so we're going to bring here. So after the birth of her 3rd child, she went into an episode of postpartum anxiety and depression. Recognizing that something was wrong, she went and reached out to her doctor, Dr. Jennifer Tufts online, who put her on Zoloft. And then Lindsay experienced a severe adverse reaction to this. She did not sleep for 48 hours, had racing thoughts, worsening anxiety, and felt awful. This was a dramatic departure from previous sleep patterns and an obvious warning sign of medication-induced activation consistent with bipolar disorder. So something you're going to see about this case is that her current experts on her side are actually saying that she had bipolar disorder as evidenced by some mood instability that she had during the postpartum period of her 2 earlier children. You know, and this can make sense because the case that they're trying to make is that she got put on these SSRI medications and they essentially triggered mania and psychosis. And if we come over here to the label of an SSRI medication, Zoloft, what we can see is this is already a recognized risk, that the drugs can cause activation of mania and hypomania, and that you should screen patients for any personal or family history of bipolar disorder, mania, or hypomania.
So I just have a quick question for you. Have you ever taken an SSRI?
Not intentionally, no.
What do you mean not intentionally?
No, I was prescribed antidepressant once with the express intent of it doing what they're describing.
You were prescribed it to make you crazy?
Yeah.
Why did somebody want to make you crazy?
Because I told them I was bipolar and that I had mania and they didn't believe me.
Can you explain? I'm sorry.
I just explained it. There was a bad psychiatrist that didn't believe I had mania, so they prescribed me an antidepressant to send me into mania without getting too into my own personal business, which I've just done.
I'm sorry. So they gave you. So they want to be like, now you're in real mania. How do you like it? Like,
No,
what?
because they didn't believe it was going to have that effect on me.
And then it did.
They were calling my bluff, yes, but then it did have that effect on me.
And then what did they do?
Oops.
Are you serious?
I don't really remember very well the exact specifics of how the situation resolved. I just know
and clearly I've made you uncomfortable, and that wasn't my intention. But just for the sake of this discussion, I think that shows that these psychiatrists, obviously not the one that we're watching, like, don't always know what they're doing.
They don't always know what they're doing. They don't always handle the situations with the appropriate amount of I don't want to say care, but like they don't, it becomes a routine thing for them that people are given these drugs and then their behavior is modified based on it.
Interesting. Well, I'm sorry you weren't believed.
Yeah, it's okay.
You're aware of this and you can quickly either avoid the medication or stop the medication if it's worse. Now, her defense experts are essentially making the case that that didn't happen. However, there are quite a few other things that can cause these problems, and I see them in my practice. These SSRI medications can be quite neurotoxic to people. It's not common, it's fairly rare. But quite frequently, I have people come in and they're exposed to an SSRI for a few days, and it causes a whole host of problems. They can have visual problems. Sometimes they get ringing in their ears. Sometimes they can have confusion and mood instability. It's almost just like a neurotoxic reaction that hits the brain. Now, a lot of doctors look at this as something called serotonin syndrome, but generally that's not diagnosed unless someone has a lot of like blood pressure problems and sweating and frank confusion. And so it's often missed, but you actually see these minor toxic reactions fairly commonly. And after you get one of them, you can have this fallout effect where for multiple months afterwards, they have nervous system instability, they respond poorly to medications, drugs make them worse, and essentially they can have mood instability and psychosis as well. And that's something that I'm not seeing in this document, but it's something that I have seen in a lot of my patients, which I know can happen. And just so you know that this isn't just me, we're back over here at the drug label now, looking at the adverse reactions that occurred in less than 2% of patients that were treated with Zoloft. And if you come down here to nervous system and psychiatric disorders, they observed ataxia, so that's unsteadiness walking, coma, convulsions, decreased alertness, lethargy, syncope. For psychiatric disorders, there was aggression, bruxism, which is teeth grinding, confusional state, euphoric mood, and hallucinations. And so these are all things that the manufacturer found during the clinical trials. And so the drug companies are also seeing the same thing. Now, jumping back over here, another thing that I want to show you is that when her dose went from 25 to 50, that made things worse. Now, in drug safety, we call that a dose response reaction. And so if you're feeling bad on a drug and you go up on the dose and it makes you worse, that's a pretty good sign that the drug is responsible for making you worse. And so I just want you to remember that, because what happens after this is very interesting. She goes back to the doctor, and the doctor essentially discontinues the Zoloft and prescribes a cocktail of medications for sleep. However, even after stopping the Zoloft and starting these other medications, she still has profound insomnia and stressing cardiac palpitations. Again, for me, this seems to be a sign that she had a toxic reaction initially to the Zoloft, and now it's causing some global problems. That's why you're having heart palpitations, insomnia. I know it's not in here, but she may have had some visual problems, some ringing in her ears, different things like that, all signs of a neurotoxicity. She ends up going back to the hospital, and the doctor prescribes her trazodone for sleep, but that's not helpful. Again, once someone's had a neurotoxic reaction, they typically do not respond well to additional medications. Out of desperation, her mom, who was a nurse at a different local hospital, the South Shore Hospital, she contacts their perinatal behavioral health program, asking for additional help. And that's where she meets nurse practitioner Paul, who prescribes Prozac. Now, here's why this doesn't make any sense. If you had done a proper history, you would say, okay, well, there's this dose response reaction to the Zoloft that made her worse. I'm probably going to avoid drugs from a similar class. Remember, Zoloft and Prozac, they're in the same class of medications, SSRI medications. And so if someone's having a neurotoxic reaction to an SSRI, you're not going to expose them to another one, because that can further irritate the nervous system and make her worse. And so here's what they find happens afterwards. After merely 4 days on Prozac, Lindsay reports that the medications intensify her insomnia. She immediately informs the providers, and the Prozac is discontinued. This was the second antidepressant that caused activation and worsening insomnia. A critical red flag for bipolar disorder. The providers failed to...
Sorry, this woman was being tortured.
Yeah. Guinea pig.
Oh my God.
Recognize. Yes, bipolar disorder, but also drug toxicity. Afterwards, Nurse Paul goes on to prescribe, again, a cocktail of sleeping medications. So Ambien, potent sleeping medication, Remeron, potent sleeping medication, Klonopin, potent sleeping medication, and anti-anxiety med. Now, in most cases, you would expect this to work. You would expect it to put someone down. But as I mentioned before, if you've had a neurotoxic reaction and you've destabilized your nervous system, people don't respond to drugs in typical ways. And so let's see what happens. Well, after taking these drugs, Lindsay experienced dissociation, perceiving the world around her as unreal, distorted, and distant. She's unable to determine what was real. She became disoriented, forgetful, confused, and disconnected from her own body. She was unable to drive and unable to be left alone. This is not a typical reaction to these drugs at all. This is a sign that someone is responding extremely poorly to medications. And that should be a clue to anyone looking after her that, hey, more drugs is likely not the answer to this person. This nervous system is not responding well to these medications. So after getting put on these medications, she ends up following up with another nurse practitioner about 3 days later who diagnoses her with bipolar and prescribes Seroquel. Now, most people would expect, hey, you've got the diagnosis right. Bipolar disorder, and Seroquel is FDA approved for bipolar disorder, along with a lot of other antipsychotics. Okay, we've got the right drug now. Shouldn't this work? However, look at what happens. After starting Seroquel, Lindsay's condition took a dramatic turn for the worse.
Have you ever taken Seroquel?
Yes.
Yeah, did it work for you?
It's hardcore. Knocks you out.
Oh, okay.
Made me feel like a robot.
Got it.
She developed suicidal ideation and began experiencing what she describes as intrusive thoughts, which were auditory hallucinations. The voices said, "I will not be the same. I want to die." She communicated her escalating internal turmoil to her husband, parents, and providers. She described her emotional state as emotionless and like a zombie, attributing this profound blunting to Seroquel. On top of this, she ends up losing 15 pounds, has no appetite, and is experiencing panic attacks and confusion, and has a lack of attention over several days. She becomes so frightened by the hallucinations that she calls a suicide hotline seeking help, but they don't hospitalize her because she doesn't have a plan on how she's going to kill herself. She does it again with Aspire Crisis Support. Again, they don't hospitalize her because she doesn't have a suicidal plan. Her husband then follows up with her and her nurse practitioner. Her husband is Patrick. And here's what he says to her. Lindsay is 10,000 times worse since she's taken this medication, and asked if they could get Lindsay off the medication and start from scratch to see what's going on. He asked if there could be some mistake, like using the wrong medications. And Nurse Joletta acknowledges it's possible, but despite this, she continues to increase the Seroquel dosage towards 400 milligrams a day. Now, this is just absolutely heartbreaking what is going on here.
Is that a high dose?
It's a lot. If you're from what I remember taking not a lot at first, and it like knocked me out. It was like zombified kind of feeling.
Oh, it is because I took some type of antipsychotic for migraines after I tried like a million migraine medications and they didn't work. I had that migraine for like 6 months. It was terrible. But the medication, they had me take like a small dose and then I'd have to like increase it a little bit over like 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's how they usually do it.
Because the intuition of the husband and the intuition of the patient is correct, that these drugs are actually hurting her. She has this initial bad reaction to the Zoloft. She's destabilized. And it's almost like every time she gets exposed to another one of these drugs, because she's had this toxic reaction, they're making it worse and worse and worse. I see this a lot in patients with protracted withdrawal injuries and bind. These are different adverse psychiatric drug reactions which cause essentially nervous system damage. And after they happen, every time you take another medication, it causes a quote unquote kindling reaction, which is essentially further damage to the nervous system. Because once you destabilize the nervous system, additional drugs often make it worse. And so this nurse doesn't pick up on it. They have this kind of the sense that, hey, better be safe than sorry. Let's just use more medications. And they end up increasing the amount of the drug. Patrick then calls the nurse's office to report that Lindsay had a devastating week. It was the worst day for Lindsay. She had horrible thoughts all day, auditory hallucinations every day, felt debilitated, not interested in anything, can't get out of bed. The hallucinations are now loud and continued all day saying, I will never be the same. I'll never be me again. You are damaged. You'll never be the same. The only option is to die. So this is someone who is having a severe toxic reaction to medications at this point, and she's essentially being tortured. She goes on to tell her husband, I have thoughts of harming the kids. She also told her
that's what I said. They're just torturing her.
Yeah.
Mother about these thoughts because she was in a psychotic state. She began to have paranoid delusions that people could hear her thoughts, and then she would be locked up in a hospital and have her children taken away. Now, this can be like a real stretch for some people, that it's like, okay, yes, you can be confused, you can have these adverse reactions, but at what point does it start to become like homicidal? And I've followed a lot of these cases. The one that comes to mind was, I think it was a California woman who was smoking cannabis. And sometimes this can cause these delirious type reactions. But I've also seen this in my own practice. You actually feel like you descend into hell. When you're in a state where your brain is dysfunctional and you have severe anxiety, you're constantly in a negative mood state, you haven't been able to sleep, you sometimes feel possessed, almost like possessed by a demon. And you hear these voices and you start to hear voices that are saying, the only way that you're going to get out of this is if you kill yourself or if you kill other people. And you can be completely consumed and taken over by these delusional, delirious, fever dream type thoughts. And so that's what happens. Shortly after this, Lindsay ends up being hospitalized at McLean Hospital. Now, this is Harvard's hospital. This is the best psychiatric hospital in the United States, supposedly. And the doctors there advised Lindsay to stop the Seroquel and the benzodiazepines, and they prescribed trazodone for sleep. And a few days later, Lindsay asks if she can go home because it's her daughter's birthday, and they allow her to go home. And potentially she may have gotten better at this point if she wasn't started on additional medications. However, she ends up seeing Dr. Goodhart from McLean, who speaks to her for only 10 minutes and offers her more antidepressants. They suggest amitriptyline to her other doctor, Dr. Tufts, who ultimately prescribes the amitriptyline to her. Now, again, this is crazy.
Amitriptyline isn't like a hardcore one though. They a lot of people take it for migraine.
Yeah, but it's the level of like chemicals that she's being just like have just possessed with. Like they're just pumping her full of chemicals and she keeps getting worse. Like I kind of understand what's going on with this situation.
You do?
Well, I feel like my perspective on what could have happened. I mean, like there's so much psychiatric medication going around in this situation.
Right. And I mean, you know, you have bipolar disorder and you have to take medication for it. And I think that that's a big reason, like why I really keep asking you all these questions, because you can understand this. Your journey to figure out like that you had bipolar disorder was pretty intense. Yeah. And you tried a lot of different medications. So yeah, it's really, really good to have your like firsthand.
But like I am the kind of person that like somebody gives me, they're like, oh, take this. And I'm like, that's dumb. I'm not going to take that. Right. Like if someone's like, take Zoloft, I'll be like, I'm not taking Zoloft. You know, like I'm skeptical enough. But I could see somebody like this that just does whatever the doctor says to do. And like, it could just tear their mind apart.
Yeah. What a bad freeze frame for this poor guy. He's really
guy, yeah.
I know.
This person has had 2 bad reactions.
Look, that's better, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's hear what he has to say.
To antidepressants that are clear, you know, the Zoloft, and then also the Prozac, and then she was also on the Seroquel. And now they put her on another antidepressant, amitriptyline. And this really sets the stage for what happens next. Because after she starts the amitriptyline at 10 milligrams a day, she still doesn't get any better. And then Dr. Tufts, her psychiatrist, increases the amitriptyline to 20 milligrams per day, and that makes her worse. And this is the day before she ends up killing her children. And so this is kind of graphic.
It says she Googled what is a psychopath.
Yeah, she's losing her mind
now, but I want to read through this, and you know, I advise you turn it off if you don't want to hear this, but this is what happens on July 24th. Lindsay wakes up severely depressed with suicidal thoughts. She gives her children breakfast. She takes her daughter to the pediatrician because she complained of a stomach ache. She goes home. She goes to the backyard with her children. They build a snowman, and they send a picture to Patrick and her mother. She begins to experience suicidal hallucinations all day nonstop. Later in the afternoon, the voices begin saying, "You should harm the children." Lindsay thinks about dinner and realizes that she hasn't prepared anything, and so she asks her husband about takeout. Now, this is like what the prosecution says. This was a premeditated thing because she told her husband to get out of the house and get takeout. I think this is like such a big stretch, you know, in the context of everything going on, to make this case that she'd been secretly thinking about this for a long time. He goes on to say this: as soon as Patrick left to pick up the food, there was a loud, demanding, repetitious voice. "This is your last chance. Kill the children so you can kill yourself. This is your last chance. You have to kill the kids so you can kill yourself." Lindsay felt a force overcome her. Lindsay experienced command auditory hallucinations. A demanding, powerful male voice explicitly ordered her. She felt an overwhelming, irresistible compulsion to comply, entering a dissociative, dreamlike state where her physical actions felt utterly disconnected from her conscious volition. She perceived her body was just acting, and she was merely watching herself do it. She reported she had no choice but to follow these compelling directions. She described, "I lost all control. My body started acting without control on my part. I was just following commands." She then proceeded to strangle each of her children, uttering, "Go to God, baby." Following these acts, she undertook a severe suicide attempt, ingesting a substantial quantity of various medications, self-inflicting lacerations to her wrist and neck, and jumping from a second-floor window approximately 20 feet to the ground below. For our non-US listeners, that's about 6 meters. That is a massive drop. Lindsay suffers catastrophic injuries, including a thoracic spinal cord injury resulting in permanent paralysis below the sternum. That's why she was in the wheelchair at the start of this video. And she suffers multiple closed fractures of her cervical and thoracic vertebrae. Lindsay consistently maintains her actions were compelled by a hallucinatory voice, not a conscious decision, and expresses profound and enduring love for her children. I don't know anyone that could hear this case and not just feel utterly enraged by what happened to her. I mean, the senseless loss of life of these 3 children for no reason, when it was so clear that she was responding poorly to these medications. I don't know when the psychiatric establishment will wake up and realize that you can't just keep on throwing drugs at problems. Sometimes the drugs make people worse. Sometimes you have to take them off them. You have to monitor them. You have to keep them safe. You have to admit that, hey, these drugs can make people toxic, and now we just have to wait for you to recover. But they never do any of that. There's this sense that more is always better. And to me, you know, we're going to see what happens in about a week's time when this case unfolds. It'll probably be wrapped up within 2 months. But to me, right now, the most telling thing is that her husband, Patrick, is standing by her during this. Could you imagine being the husband? You've definitely had those thoughts, you know, was this premeditated? But for him, the person who lived with her every single day and watched her go through this, if he is looking at her and saying, this was due to the drugs, this was not my wife, to me, that speaks volumes. I'm going to be watching this case with a lot of interest because psychiatric drugs are certainly going to be on trial. And I think the cautionary tale in this is that, hey, more drugs is not always better. And so if you feel that you're getting worse on these medications, listen to your intuition, talk to your doctor, start thinking about coming off. And if you're really struggling about coming off, that's actually something we do. And so you can check the link below this video and you can learn about our practice. Thanks.
Great video.
Yeah, I think a lot of doctors in psychiatric medicine they use the drugs as like their crutch. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a physical thing where it's like, oh, the leg is broken and I can physically see where the leg is broken and apply some sort of like thing to fix it, right? They're just like, the brain is broken, let's give it this drug and the chemical should fix itself. Like it's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, anyway, that's all I have.
Yeah, that last part was pretty intense.
Yeah, I was hoping we could end on a positive note, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep like updating on this, and you know, we'll follow it. I'm gonna watch the trial. I'm not gonna like replay it here, but I'll give you updates and maybe clips of like things that happened that are worth seeing.
Yeah.
I really hope that she's successful because, I mean, I've never had like a bipolar disorder or had something like this, but I did have postpartum depression pretty bad, and it's scary.
It sounds like a lot of what happened with her, though, can be explained through just reckless use of psychiatric drugs. And like she doesn't, without a healthy dose of like skepticism towards what those doctors are telling you to do with those drugs. Yeah, like you're going from Seroquel to Zoloft to Prozac. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's crazy to me too. Anyway, I'm going to watch it with a lot of interest, and I'm definitely going to keep following this psychiatrist, Dr. Yosef, because he seems to really understand medications.
It seems
and
like
if he's following this, I think he might do some follow-up videos. Anyway, I am ready to terminate our date for the evening. Why don't you see us out?